picturesque Wausau, Wisconsin, single mom Jessica Strom has just sealed a deadly deal, offering a 24-year-old former classmate $1,000 and the promise of sex to kill her fiancé, John Shelfeffer.
Sounds so easy. No.
Is anything on you the first, like, crazy?
I have nothing on me.
Okay.
And she's thought of everything, including what she'll do after the hit job if suspicion turns to her.
So when they go looking for someone who did this, they're going to be looking for you.
Oh, yeah.
And then what are you going to say? Just...
That's what... Yeah.
Is she for real?
When you saw the tapes, was there any doubt in your mind that this was a full-fledged plot to kill her fiancé?
Absolutely not. We watched it at our office, and we were all just completely floored by the context of the conversation and her demeanor.
Detective Jennifer Holtz had seen enough and confronted Jessica at her house with her kids asleep upstairs.
When the police showed up at your home, what did you make of that?
I was half asleep on my couch. I had no idea they were there for that at all.
It's 11:15 p.m.
I have no makeup on, thanks.
Did she think she was in trouble when you showed up?
Initially, I don't believe so. I don't think it occurred to her that we had taped the entire conversation between her and Alex.
I've been with John for 7 years, and he's done things to me, and I've done things to him too. But it's not like we want to literally kill each other.
Well, you seem like a very smart girl, woman. Smart enough to realize that your entire conversation was recorded. And what you're telling me is not true.
And when you learned that the conversation had been recorded?
Then it came back to me that, oh, okay, this makes sense why they're here. But at the same time, it wasn't real that it was happening.
Jessica tells investigators she thought the meeting with Alex was about something much more mundane than murder, saying she was hoping her tech-savvy former classmate could help her sort out Wi-Fi problems.
I asked him, you know, can you help me with this internet? And he's like, oh, sure.
How did the idea of killing John even come into the conversation?
He was frustrating me that earlier that week. But I do know that I said something like, well, you could kill him if you wanted to.
But I've seen the tape, and nowhere on there do you talk about the internet.
It was all talked about before, and that's what I had believed. That's why I was meeting him for.
So you're saying this was all a big misunderstanding?
Yes, yes. And
even though you offered money to someone, gave your fiancé's schedule, drew a map of his house.
Yeah, he knew it wasn't serious.
Certainly, you're not joking when you begin to draw maps and make comments about how now your fingerprints are on this map.
Never. I love that man, and I would not kill him. No.
But yet you're asking this guy to do it.
I know it sounds so bad.
What did you think about the idea that she wanted to have you killed?
At first, I didn't believe it. I thought I was like it was a joke. And then my body started to shake.
After he calmed down, John watched this video of his soulmate plotting to end his life.
Take 3 minutes.
What do you feel when you look at that tape of yourself?
I feel taken advantage of.
You feel taken advantage of?
I feel taken advantage of. I
Even
really
though
do.
you're the one who's leading him.
He actually led to the conclusion of it all. He's carrying on the conversation. I'm just kind of nonchalantly laughing and singing.
But to even come up with a price, $1,000 plus sex.
That's nuts.
To kill the man that you love?
That's nuts. That's crazy. And, you know, unfortunately, I am sitting here as a product of that.
Here, meaning the Marathon County Jail, where Jessica has been collecting her thoughts since that night police came knocking. Scared and alone behind bars, she reached out to the one person she knew would answer.
I called John first, who's my first call.
Honey?
Why are you in jail?
I'm in here because I said to somebody that I wanted to kill you. I said it as a total joke. I don't know if you can do anything.
I don't know that it's in my place to help you.
Okay, what can you recommend that I can do, honey?
I'm not getting involved. I am staying out of it. You need to call your attorney.
But these days, John's had a change of heart.
Next day, she calls and says, "You need to help me. This isn't real." You know, and 6-7 months later, I come to the conclusion that is the truth.
So you don't think she intended to have you killed?
No.
Though John may not have believed his life was ever on the line, a judge did.
It's a serious crime.
And last month, Jessica accepted a plea deal for solicitation to commit first-degree intentional homicide. That will keep her in prison for at least 3.5 years. At her sentencing hearing, she blamed who else but John.
I stayed doing what I was always doing, trying to please John. John physically abused me. I'm afraid he will not leave me alone.
Do you wish you hadn't planned John's
I didn't
murder?
plan. I did not plan it at all. Never. I shouldn't have said those things.
But after all the sex, lies, and that videotape, after all the 1,000 reasons why this affair should have ended long ago, the two ill-fated lovers still feel that spark.
Do you still love John?
Very much. Very, very much, with my whole heart.
I do love Jessica to this day.
Still?
To this day.
In spite of everything?
Because I attribute her negative behaviors to mental illness.
Do you still want to be with her in the future?
I would say, yeah.
And believe it or not, Jessica's also leaving that door open.
And when you leave prison, will that relationship ever resume again?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Oh, that crazy thing called love.
If you love someone in your heart, you know, how can you make those feelings go away?
So do you believe this was all a joke? We're on Twitter. Use the hashtag ABC2020. And when we come back here tonight, another designing woman, a teacher with a confession on camera. She wasn't after just one student. Prosecutors say there were several.
In picturesque Wausau, Wisconsin, single mom Jessica Strom has just sealed a deadly deal, offering a 24-year-old former classmate $1,000 and the promise of sex to kill her fiancé, John Shelfeffer.
Sounds so easy. No.
Is anything on you the first like crazy?
I had nothing on me.
Okay.
And she's thought of everything, including what she'll do after the hit job if suspicion turns to her.
So when they go looking for someone who did this, they're going to be looking for it.
Oh yeah.
And then what are you going to say? Just.
That's what. Yeah.
Is she for real?
When you saw the tapes, was there any doubt in your mind that this was a full-fledged plot to kill her fiancé?
Absolutely not. We watched it at our office, and we were all just completely